Have you ever read a few lines of a poem and felt a rush of emotion you couldn't explain? Poetry has a way of capturing life's beauty, pain, and complexity in just a handful of words, and yet so many people struggle to understand or appreciate it. What makes poetry so powerful, and how can it speak to anyone, anywhere, at any time? Welcome to HowExpert Tip of the Day, where we bring you real-world tips from our how-to guides on all topics from A to Z. If you want to learn even more in-depth strategies, examples, and techniques on this topic, check out HowExpert Guide to Poetry, available at Amazon, Audible, Barnes & Noble, Google, Kobo, Apple, Spotify, and all major bookstores as an ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook. At its heart, poetry is a form of expression that compresses thought, feeling, and imagery into language that resonates with the reader. Unlike prose, which explains or narrates, poetry often evokes, hints, and suggests, allowing the reader to engage emotionally and imaginatively. Today, we'll explore what poetry is, why it matters, and the essential principles that help you understand and appreciate it on a deeper level. First, let's discuss the essence of poetry. Poetry is not just rhyme and rhythm. It's the careful use of words to convey meaning beyond the literal. Consider Robert Frost's famous line, "Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by." On the surface, it's a simple story about a choice, but the structure, word choice, and rhythm convey a deeper reflection on life's decisions. The key takeaway: poetry communicates layered meaning in a concentrated form. Second, consider imagery and sensory language. Good poetry paints pictures in your mind and evokes emotions through the senses. Words like crimson sunset or the sharp scent of rain do more than describe. They immerse you in the experience. Imagery is essential because it transforms abstract ideas into something tangible, making the reader feel rather than just understand. Third, let's talk about rhythm, meter, and sound. Poetry often uses musical elements to enhance meaning and emotion. Alliteration, assonance, rhyme, and meter guide the reader's pace and create resonance. For example, the repetition in Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven contributes to the poem's haunting atmosphere. The takeaway here is that how a poem sounds is just as important as what it says. Fourth, we explore themes and emotional impact. Poems tackle universal experiences: love, loss, hope, struggle, and beauty. Understanding a poem's theme allows readers to connect with it personally, even if the poet's circumstances are different. For instance, Maya Angelou's Still I Rise celebrates resilience and self-respect, inspiring readers across generations. Recognizing themes deepens appreciation and reveals poetry's relevance to our own lives. Fifth, we examine structure and form. From sonnets to free verse, haikus to epics, the form of a poem shapes how it communicates. Sonnets often explore love or reflection within strict rhyme and meter, while free verse allows fluid, modern expression. By observing form, you gain insight into the poet's intentions and how the structure influences the reading experience. Sixth, let's consider interpretation and multiple meanings. Poetry often leaves space for readers to find their own meaning. One line can evoke different emotions depending on perspective or context. T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland is famously complex, with multiple layers of reference and interpretation. The takeaway is that engaging with poetry is an active process. You participate in creating its meaning. Seventh, think about writing and enjoying poetry yourself. Reading poetry helps you appreciate language, but writing it teaches you nuance, rhythm, and self-expression. Start small. Try a haiku or a short free verse poem focused on a single image or feeling. The act of creating deepens your understanding and connection to the art form. To tie these ideas together, imagine reading a poem aloud with a friend. You notice the rhythm, the images, the emotions, and then share interpretations. Each perspective adds to the richness of the experience. Poetry is both personal and universal. It invites conversation and reflection while remaining deeply individual. When we summarize, understanding poetry involves seeing beyond words to the emotions, imagery, rhythm, themes, structure, and interpretations they carry. Each poem is a microcosm of human experience, waiting for the reader to engage with it thoughtfully. The more you explore, the more you realize poetry's unique ability to connect hearts and minds. Here's a thought to remember. Poetry doesn't just tell a story, it creates a world, and every reader can enter it in their own way. For even more tips, techniques, and practical examples on this topic, check out HowExpert Guide to Poetry, available at Amazon, Audible, Barnes & Noble, Google, Kobo, Apple, Spotify, and all major bookstores as an ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook. HowExpert publishes how-to guides on all topics from A to Z. Visit howexpert.com to learn more.